Hey guys, it's August 22nd, 2021. WrestlePoint here with our some thoughts on SummerSlam last night, which was a very, I would say, eventful, controversial SummerSlam. What do you guys think? It was definitely something.
I thought it was a overall it was a pretty good show. I mean, I was for the most part kind of underwhelmed with a lot of it, but it was like they definitely did their part as far as getting interest back after the Punk debut on AEW, and we'll talk about that obviously. But as far as the matches go, I don't there isn't like there were some okay matches, there were some good matches, but there wasn't like that classic, like Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog at Wembley Stadium kind of match that you're just like, wow, I'm always going to remember SummerSlam 2021 because of this match. I don't remember that. There's no match like that. There were moments, but not matches.
I think there's you're gonna look back and be like, wow, did they really do that? Like especially in the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Like really, you remember everybody's gonna be like, do you remember when they squashed Bianca Belaire? I thought it was a pretty decent show. I didn't think, like Eric said, there wasn't that one match that stuck out and be like, wow, you need to watch this pay-per-view for this match. It was a subpar SummerSlam. I probably, if I was rating it out of 10, I'd probably give it like a 5.5.
Yeah.
That's not very subpar. That's like below average, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's average.
Well, I mean, because when you
average.
take into account, there's so many things to take into account with a WWE pay-per-view, not just the match quality, which I think we're kind of in agreement that match quality was a little bit subpar on the whole, but also it was like the show's so fucking long. It was 4 hours. Like Las Vegas asked, can you shorten it? And they said, no, we won't. In fact, we might just make it a little bit longer. When including the pre-show, this was 5 hours.
I mean,
And then
yeah,
also the
I was gonna say you
go
talked.
ahead, go ahead.
You talked about in our little, what was it, not preview, yeah, I guess it was preview and predictions, yeah, that you thought it was going to be shorter, and we talked about, oh, our match is going to get cut, are the match length going to be shorter than usual, and it didn't seem like it.
I didn't think the matches were too. There was only like one or two matches that really went like, I would say, long. I feel like, but their segments took forever.
And there was so much stuff that didn't need to be there. Like the Shinsuke Nakamura thing didn't need to be there. The Dripstick 2000 didn't need to be there. Like there were, I've got the match lengths up right now. There were only, so there, including pre-show, there were 11 matches. On 5 of them got double-digit minutes. 2 of them got over 20 minutes, and it looks like, yeah, the average match length looks like it was probably somewhere around 9 or 10 minutes. And if you take out the Nakamura thing, you take out the Dripstick thing, you could definitely you can add to some of these matches that just needed a little more time, or just like the finish was so abrupt. It's like, they didn't shorten the show by the looks of it, but based on some of the abrupt finishes that seemingly came out of nowhere, some of the matches looked like they were cut. And if that's the case, why would you not cut these stupid segments that nobody wanted to see?
Not only the segments, but the video packages. Like the video packages for some of these were like at least 2 minutes, I would like to think. But
I'm a fan of all the video packages just because WWE. That's the one thing WWE always does right, is the promo.
They used to do it really well, like in the Attitude Era.
They still do.
It's not as good as it used to be, but overall, I think SummerSlam, what I actually really, really liked about the show, probably the most out of anything, except the returns, obviously, is it actually felt like a big show. Like a lot of times when I look back at SummerSlam, I'm like, okay, this is supposed to be WWE's second biggest show of the year, and it feels like just another pay-per-view sometimes. But when I look at this card and just the setup, like if I look at this card by itself, not necessarily the match qualities, it feels like a WrestleMania card. I can see John Cena and Roman Reigns headline WrestleMania, Goldberg and Bobby Lashley also be there. But I never said that it was going to be a great WrestleMania, but I could see it like being on a regular WrestleMania, and I did like the big stadium feel of it. I think they were in like a football stadium, I believe.
They were in the Raiders Stadium.
Yeah, so I do like that. I like if they do that next SummerSlam with the same matches, just less controversial things, I guess. and we'll get into that. But overall, I enjoyed myself like 40% of the time, maybe 30,
Man,
somewhere around there.
that means you weren't having a good time 70% of the time. 70% was.
Oh, does it now? Oh, I meant the opposite.
Dom's German, so he doesn't really get the good math.
Okay, what I mean is like there were some pretty good highs and some pretty lows. Overall, it was a SummerSlam, all right. It's definitely a SummerSlam.
Yeah, we'll get into all that. So let's start off. Did either of you guys watch the pre-show match between Biggie and Baron Corbin?
I did.
I watched a little bit of it. Caught like the middle to the end. So I didn't catch the beginning of it.
Something you would just find on SmackDown, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like there was nothing particularly exciting about it. Like had Baron Corbin not stolen the Money in the Bank briefcase, I think there's no reason to watch this match at all, just based on like there's no momentum behind this feud. But it was for a pre-show match, I think it was fine. Obviously, Biggie wins. It's a fine match. But just it's not super exciting. And I think WWE and just the business in general, they've lost the plot on what a pre-show match is supposed to be. They've said like nowadays it's treated as more of a throwaway match, like just to get more people in front of fans. When I think it should be a match that's pretty hot, that gets the crowd actually like give us a reason to watch the pre-show, make it a hot match that gets the crowd hot for when the main card starts. So that's what I think a pre-show match should be. And this wasn't exactly it. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't very good.
Well, I'll say to that I mean, in terms of anticipation, I mean, like they set up a storyline for the pre-show match. I mean, we saw the segment of Baron Corbin stealing the briefcase, so now there's going to be like an explanation, like, oh, Biggie got it back from Baron Corbin in the pre-show, and then be like, hey, this is a reason to watch the pre-show. So, in terms of, but it does I would say get people excited.
Add the match until that day.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, I'm guessing they thought about it earlier, or they wouldn't have Baron Corbin steal the briefcase.
It wasn't, yeah.
So like anticipation doesn't have anything to do with it. I don't think.
I mean, they don't announce pre-show matches though.
Usually,
yeah, but they'll usually announce the full card, and then off that card, one or two of them will be pre-show matches. This one, like, I didn't know this match was going to be a thing until during the pre-show when they said it was going to happen.
Yeah, fair enough.
Unless maybe we all missed something. Maybe they did announce it early and we all missed it. But...
I didn't say anything. So
yeah,
we missed.
Yeah, I had one kind of gripe about the presentation of Baron Corbin. And this is obviously they're doing the whole thing about him being down on his luck and stuff. But Big E comes out first and he gets the whole like proper ring announcement. Weighing in it however much from here's his hometown, Mr. Money in the Bank. And then Baron Corbin comes out with no music, and the ring announcer's just like, and his opponent is Baron Corbin. It's like, that has nothing to do with the storyline. Like, now you're just like that's not him being down on his luck.
He can't afford a real entrance.
He can't afford it. They don't give a. They're like they're just like.
Is in the world of so now like does that mean that in the world of kayfabe, the wrestlers have to pay for their own music and ring intros?
Well,
I guess so.
The world of kayfabe on WWE never made sense, so we just have to go with it.
That was just a small
music too. I love Baron Corbin in music too. It's so good.
Yeah, I literally wrote my first. I took some contemporaneous notes on the match. I said, I don't care how bad Corbin's life is. He still has the best music in the company. Why aren't they playing?
I don't know about the best music in the company, but
that's close. It's close. I don't know with Edgeback maybe.
That was just a small gripe for me. It was a pre-show match. What do you expect? It wasn't very good. If I'm going to give it a star rating, I'll give it like 2.5 stars. Just
I'd give it 2 stars.
It wasn't special.
It was just for sure. I also think I feel like with proper build, this could have been a decent match, and I feel like. Oh my god! I wish it was Alexa and Eva on the pre-show.
Well,
that was never going to be a pre-show match.
They got the illustrious second spot on the card, so and I like to say that that's the worst spot in the card. So.
Yeah. So moving on to the main card. So the first match, and I'm actually glad that this was the first match on, because the first match on a card should never be a throwaway match. It should be something that the crowd is genuinely intrigued by, and this was the Raw Tag Team Championship, AJ Styles and Omos versus RK Bro, and I'll let you guys take it away.
I like the match. Riddle and Randy are a really good team to me. I like the chemistry they have, and I would have liked this. I like the strategy of every time Randy would hit a move on AJ, he would go to the apron and hit Omos. So Omos was staggered the whole match. I feel like good ring psychology in this match, and I'm sad that they didn't get the double RKO on Omos, but they still picked up the win. I'd give this match probably 3 stars because it was a pretty good match. It wasn't too long. AJ obviously carried for his team, and Riddle and Randy can go whenever. So it was a good match, I feel like.
For me, you obviously can tell Randy's having actually fun. Like the gripe with me with Randy as a face is he doesn't seem like very genuine. Like always has an undertone of like, what is his actual like demeanor? What is his actual like? What is he actually thinking? But with Riddle, you can tell it's a very good pairing. They bounce off each other very well. It was a great match. AJ is the phenomenal one. Almas was there too. Did Almas take the pin? He didn't, right? AJ did.
No, AJ took the pin.
Yeah, so as we expected, or I expected, AJ took the pin. I think Almas and AJ will still continue to feud with Matt and Orton until the draft. And then we'll see what happens with Almas. I'm guessing he's gonna go on a individual run. In terms of the match quality itself, I think it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. I think these are all quality workers, including Almas. He's not that bad of a big man. He's gonna flourish more the more matches he'll have, but that's just me. I think this is like a 3.3 if I had to give it. I'll go decimal because
you just have to outdo me.
No, it's not that I'm outdoing you. I mean, I'll do that on the regular, but I'm just saying like I need to be more specific.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll say for me, so I've always been a little bit skeptical about the pairing of Randy and Matt Riddle, like thinking like, why is this pair so over? But I gotta say, from their from their ring entrance, from the stage to the ring, it sold me with like Riddle's being all goofy and he's singing along to Randy's theme music, and Randy's like he's doing his serious walk up, but he keeps turning around and looking at this goofball doing his thing, and he's going with it. And I think like Dom said, they play off each other really, really well. And as far as once the bell rang, I think the match from the perspective of Randy Orton and Matt Riddle, I think it was exactly what it should have been. Obviously, Randy is getting all the big moves in. Randy's doing a lot of the actual work, and Matt Riddle's kind of a lot of what Matt Riddle did. He obviously had some spots in the ring with Omos, but for the most part, he did a lot of stuff outside the ring while Randy was the legal man to try to neutralize Omos. Was obviously, like Cody said, a big part of this was making sure that Omos is staggered for as long as possible. And I just think in general, Randy does all the dirty work while Matt Riddle just kind of bops around and does his thing, but still gets some strikes in because he is a shooter and you need to kind of highlight his pedigree. I think it was great. My only complaint, I mean, obviously I said it yesterday that the Randy and AJ interplay is like why I want to watch the match. And this match was probably 75% Randy and AJ interplay, which is awesome. My only complaint is, and it goes back to what I talked about yesterday, I think Omos he was staggered too many times. I get that that's the ring psychology and it works, but he was staggered and he did the like from the apron, like leaning back with one hand on the rope thing. He did that so many times, and he was neutralized for the finish without even taking a huge move. I don't know. It goes back to, I don't think they're managing Omos very well. When he was in the ring, he was good. He actually surprised me with like his brief moments in the ring with Matt Riddle, I thought were good. But then outside the ring, I think he was a little bit too much of a flunky.
Yeah, I get that.
Honestly, he just needs more experience. Hence why they put him in attack.
I mean, that's not even experience. That's just the way they're booking him. They're booking him to be staggered. I mean, he hit that nice like choke slam on the apron to Matt Riddle, but then I don't even remember. Do you guys remember what move kind of took him out for the match?
They Riddle smashed him into the ring post twice. I'm pretty sure that was the end of it.
Is that what it was?
He smashed him in once. He came back staggered and Riddle pushed him into it again. And he was like over by the like barricade. I think that's what the ending was, but I could be wrong. I didn't rewatch, so.
Yeah, I would agree with Cody. 3-star, solid 3-star match though.
Yeah, it was a
Right-
solid
right
match.
people won.
From what we expected, a solid match. We got that. Nothing really to complain. We all kind of
I
saw
think
that.
for most of the matches tonight, I think the right people won.
Yeah,
If I'm being
Oh,
honest.
totally
I
agree.
think
I agree.
for one, maybe one that was like
We'll get into that.
the way they
Yeah,
won.
we'll talk about it. We'll talk about that. But yeah, so Dom just talked about a solid match. Let's get into a match that was not solid at all. The next match was Eva Marie versus Alexa Bliss. This went 4 minutes, and well, actually, including entrances, it was about 10 minutes, and that was 9 minutes and 30 seconds too long. This was absolute garbage, like we all knew it would be. And the first thing in my notes. Now, this recap package is insulting. There were 3 clips of the recap package. One of them was Lily biting the camera. One of them was her standing up on her own, and one of her was winking to the camera. Just this recap package is insulting to me as a wrestling fan. And then my next note, the match starts with Eva taking a clumsy bump to the floor. Then she did a clunky standing switch. Then she hit a doll. Then she slapped a doll in the face. Then she hit Alexa Bliss in the face with a doll. This match sucks. This match is so stupid. And again, the actual from the bell to bell time was a little under 4 minutes, and this match did not need to happen. With entrances, this is 10 minutes of pay-per-view time, which after the match, it seemed like the only reason that this match happened was so Doudrop could officially turn on Eva Marie, if you even call it a turn.
I don't think if it was even a real turn, it was.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know what that was.
Like
I
this-
would just suggest. I suggest anybody if you're watching this back, this is where you go to the bathroom.
Yeah, like it seemed like the whole point of the match was for Doudrop to kind of give Eva Marie a little bit of attitude afterward. You couldn't have done that on free TV. You really had to take up pay-per-view time for this crap. You know, this doesn't even get a rating for me because this wasn't a match. Like the one thing I'm a little bit happy about is I don't remember there being any supernatural stuff.
Nope.
But still, it was crap. It was absolute crap. I hated it.
Yeah, Lily just got. What's the name? Lily? I'm not gonna learn that fucking doll's name, but Lily got smacked a couple of times. The thing about the match that I do like a little bit is you can see glimpses of Alexa Bliss, like just Alexa Bliss greatness. The way she just was so smooth in the ring. It was a little clunky with what's her name? Who did she face? Eva Marie. This match doesn't need to be here. I don't know why they did this segment. Women's Raw division needs better booking. That's all I can say. I thought Doudrop was gonna turn heel. It was extremely underwhelming.
It would be face. She would turn face.
Yeah, she's not. She wouldn't turn heel.
Turn heel. Well, turn on Eva Marie, but it was extremely underwhelming. She just she said, "Oh, and the loser is Eva Marie," and I'm like, who cares? Like,
I have 3 statements. I have 3 statements for this match. 1, it's a 0. 2nd, Alexa's better than this. 3rd, Eva Marie can't wrestle. Okay, next.
That sums it up basically.
All right, so moving right along. We don't need to take any more time on this. So the next match was the United States Championship, Sheamus versus Damien Priest.
I love this match. This match was I think this was my favorite match of the night, to be honest. Because I just like hard-hitting matches. Like Sheamus is obviously a bruiser. He's a shooter. Like he works stiff style. It just works so well. And Damien Priest, he can do that as well. And he did. It was a little clunky at times, but that's what shoot style is, you know? Like this match reminds me of like a WWE version of something like Tomohiro Ishii would have with Suzuki. Maybe maybe on the lesser version, but it's gonna be hard hitting. You can feel the hits. The finish was great. That kick out it was Damien Priest jumping on the second rope to Sheamus to do whatever, and then Sheamus didn't hit him with a blow kick. He hit him with like a V trigger, and I thought that was it. And when Damien Priest kicked out, that surprised me, and I didn't expect to be surprised. And Damien Priest won the US Championship. We're gonna see what he does now. Who he's gonna feud with. I'm really intrigued what's gonna happen. I'm guessing Sheamus gonna have a rematch on Monday because that's what WWE likes to do. But overall, I really like this match. This match surprised me. I didn't expect to like it so much. So I'm pleasantly surprised. I'll give it 4 stars. What's
Wow,
that face?
4 stars.
What's that
4
face?
stars.
I mean, this.
4 stars is like a really good match, and like
Yeah.
I mean, this was a
I
very
like
good
the
match
match.
too. What do you not
I
like
like
about
the
this
match.
match?
I like the match, but it just I don't know. It felt kind of sloppy a little bit in the
But it's
beginning.
but
Like,
they're not
because
trying to.
they don't have. I mean, like a 4-star match, it's not gonna be sloppy at all. It's like 5 stars is like a great match. Like so, like I think it was decent. I didn't like the beginning of it. As soon as the pace started picking up, I liked it. Damian Priest did seem like there wasn't much chemistry there between him and Sheamus at first. It did feel like pretty sloppy, but I did enjoy it at the end. I think that finish was the best finish of the night.
Yeah,
I like him taking off the mask and hitting with it.
that was good.
And I do like that Miz and Morrison were nowhere to be found at all. So maybe that's a sign that storyline's over, hopefully.
Maybe.
Because the New Day had a thing with, Xavier had a thing with the Miz after. So hopefully that's the end of it. And I'm excited to see Damian Priest. Maybe I think Damian Priest would be good if he did like a US Open challenge, stuff like that, to build his character a bit as this confident face that takes on all comers. So I'm excited to see Damian Priest, but I would give this probably a 3.5.
Damien Priest is gonna have a championship contenders match, probably.
What does that mean? What?
A championship contenders match is literally it's like a funny excuse for the like champion to face the #1 contender and potentially lose, but then not lose the title. It's stupid.
But you know that's what's gonna happen.
So for the match itself, I'm glad Damian Priest won again. The right man won. I love Sheamus, and Sheamus I think was having a pretty good title reign. He's one of the guys that actually did himself a lot of favors during the pandemic and was doing really, really good work. I think, would you guys say some of the best work of his career during the pandemic?
I
definitely think so.
The best part. This is the best Sheamus we've
Well,
seen.
I like this. I like the bar version a little better because him and Cesaro just work great.
Yeah, but I mean, like I
yeah.
said, like this, like Sheamus is doing great. I think it's unfortunate that this had to be the match because I didn't necessarily want Sheamus to drop the title, but if he's against Damian Priest, he's got to drop the title. But as far as the match itself, I agree with Cody. The beginning, it was a little bit sloppy. Damian Priest, a couple minutes in, he did that rope assisted tope to the outside, and it didn't look like he got enough air, and he landed. It looked like straight on his tailbone. And I think that might have contributed to why the pacing at the beginning was so slow. But it's also a big problem for me. And this goes the same for another match on the card is there was so like a big drawn out heat on Damian Priest, which is fine since he's a babyface, but he has to be over to have that to justify getting that much heat. Like when Sheamus is just beating him up and the crowd's not reacting, it just makes Damian Priest look weak. He has to be over and have the crowd really cheering him on for the heat to actually work. But then once they got over that and the match picked up, I thought it was good. It definitely took them a couple of minutes to start working well with each other, because I think their styles do complement each other. You know, a striker and a strong-handed, and Sheamus is more of a strong-handed brawler. I think those, like, you can have good matches with that. And then, yeah, like Cody said, I don't know if this might be my second favorite finish of the night, but yeah, the finish was great. Taking the mask off, hitting 3 moves right on the bridge of his nose, then his finish, 1, 2, 3. I think it was a great finish. And I give this 3.25 stars. Because I think I had a problem with the pacing for the most part, and there was a little bit of sloppy work, but it was fine. It was good.
Okay, maybe 4 stars is a bit too much now to think about it.
No,
Yes, it is. It's way too much.
Oh my god. It was a bit sloppy, but I for me personally, I just like to see like a really hard hitting match on
I mean, and you can do sloppy with these styles, because
exactly.
They're like in a brawl can be sloppy, but when the sloppy parts of it are a botched tope, and then Damian Priest, I meant to watch this match back so I can watch this one spot. When he did the Hurricane Rana, it looked like he landed on his head because he's so tall.
He's too tall, yeah.
And then also, do you guys remember when Sheamus hit the Alabama Slam on Damian Priest?
I think it was a long shot.
He hit an Alabama Slam on Damian Priest. and Damien Priest hit like lower back first, then like he didn't land flat back, he landed like this. And that's because he's so tall. In Alabama Slam, it's hard to hit on a guy with such long legs, because you really have to fold yourself over to get him flat back. So that was another one that just looked really sloppy. And that taking a bump when you hit like here and then fold like that hurts a lot more than taking it flat back. So I bet you it hurt a lot more to take that bump. But anyway, so the next match. And this one, this is an up and down match for me. There were parts that I really liked. There were parts that I really didn't like. Smackdown Tag Team Championship, Usos versus the Mysterios.
I can go first. This is probably, it's hard to say, but this is probably one of my favorite matches of the night. Ray can still go, obviously, but it does feel like Dom, every move he made, he botched or came close to. He wasn't very good in the ring. He needs more training. I'm hoping this feud is over, but I do like that the Usos did look very dominant in most of those parts of this match, and like I think they were in control 75% of the match almost. So they did look very strong. I just don't know who they're gonna be facing next, but I did like this match. I think the Usos look good. I think Ray looked really good. I think Dom was really the weak part that held this match back a little bit. But yeah, I did enjoy this match. I'd probably say this is like 3.5, like kind of like the same day. It was a little better than the Damien Priest match, but not by much, I think.
And for me, I mean, I don't think of a typical like heel versus face tag team match. This is what I think. A lot of times it was just Ray trying to get to this corner for a hot tag, and then you switch it off with Dom trying to get to a hot tag. Usos dominated how they should have. It was a pretty solid tag team match. No big gripes again. They of course Dominic could have been better, but this is it's a big stage. I think he could have done a lot worse as well. Like he didn't. I don't think he hindered the enjoyment of this match. So overall, the right person or the right tag team in this case won. No clue who they're gonna feud with next. We talked about this yesterday. Maybe Gable Academy, Street Profits.
Maybe Street Profits.
Maybe a call up. Who knows?
No. Are the Viking Raiders still on SmackDown?
They're on Raw.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, why do I even ask? I don't care about this guy. I've been out, Dom. You know this. I've been out on the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders ever since that stupid cinematic match they had.
I do not like the Street Profits. I don't know. I'm just sick of the Street Profits.
I don't like this. The Street Profits are like a worse version of the Private Party for me. That was just me.
Yeah. So for me, this was I want to say this was my favorite match of the night as far as action goes. As far as action goes, I think this might have been my favorite match of the night, because I think whenever Ray was the legal man, I think this was a really fun match. You weren't looking for anything technically brilliant in this match. You weren't really looking for much long-term storytelling. This was a match just to like pick the show up a little bit, because the first couple matches the last couple matches were a little bit slow. And right when the bell rings, Ray, he jump starts it, and he gets a really good flurry in, and then he tags Dominic in. And the first thing he does is the very first thing he does, he missed his very first cue, because Ray dumps one of the Usos, and then the next spot was supposed to be Dominic goes to the middle of the apron and chucks the other one over. If you look, Dominic takes a couple steps towards the middle of the apron way too early, and Ray has to be, hey, stupid, go back, it's not time yet. So then he has to walk back. So the first thing he does is mess up his cue, and then he does a nice little springboard to the outside. That was fine. But then the first thing he does in the ring, he nearly falls off the rope trying to go for a springboard, that then does an incredibly awkward looking crossbody. And it's just everything Dom did in this match just wasn't very good, except for he hit the Three Amigos pretty well. But I'll talk in a sec about how they kind of buried his Three Amigos later. But then I timed this, and this is why this is why I struggled to give this match really high praise. Is this match went, according to Wikipedia, 10 minutes and 50 seconds, and I timed it. They went just under 4.5 minutes straight of heat on Dominic, just beating the shit out of Dominic. And again, Dominic, same thing I said with Damien Priest. Dominic doesn't get the type of reaction from the crowd where you can just get heat on him for that long. It makes him look, I mean, it does make the Usos look really strong, which is good, but it also makes Dominic look really weak. And I think with Dominic, the point is they want to make him a sympathetic figure, but they just made him look really, really bad here. I mean, he had that little hope spot just get cut off, which was nice, but everything he did was bad. He gets the hot tag to Ray. Ray cleans it up a little bit. Action picks up. And, I'm trying to remember exactly how it went. Ray, he picks it up. He gets a little flurry, foils a double team move, gets cut off with a super kick, trying to go for a springboard move. So the action's picking up here really well. This would have been a really good 2-on-1 handicap match, I think. But then after this good flurry, you have Dominic try to go for something on the apron. And they have this little awkward thing where he lands and he's got the guy in position to where it looks like he might DDT him on the apron. And then he kind of pauses because maybe that's not the right spot. And then he just lets him go. And then he gets front suplexed on the apron. And he's out for the match. Dude, what the fuck? This is how you're going to book this kid. It was bad. It was bad, but the finish was good. I'm glad the Usos won clean. And yeah, I don't need to see any more of this feud, but I was going to give this 3.5, but Dominic just ruins it for me. Then I give this 3.
I think he usually.
A good 3 is what I agree on as well. It's a solid tag team match. We expected a solid tag team match from them. I don't need to see this match again. The Usos are better than that. They're gonna have better matches with other tag teams.
And my biggest problem was if you're gonna beat the Mysterios flat, and Ray's gonna be the one to take the pin, why are you not gonna continue the story of the dissension between Ray and Dominic? Why is they just walked off? Why they didn't argue with each other? They didn't yell at each other. Dominic
they wanted for SmackDown.
But you plant they didn't have to full on turn here, but you can still have Dominic be looking disappointed that his father just lost the match and looking a little bit resentful, the fact that they hinted at it on SmackDown and then did nothing for it here and just beat the Mysterios flat. I think it's an odd decision for me, but whatever. Speaking of odd decisions, so I kind of want to take this in multiple parts because we had a segment and then another segment and then a match. So the SmackDown Women's Championship, after a full multiple minute package of Bianca Belaire versus Sasha Banks and a full entrance for Bianca Belaire, they say Sasha's not here. So why did we get the package and why are you why did we get a full package if you knew that she wasn't anyway? And then okay, you're new. And actually, I wrote during Bianca Belaire's entrance, I'm really excited for this match, but if I see Carmella or Zelina Vega at any point, I'm going to puke. And then they get to the ring, you're actually going to be fighting Carmella. And I was like, shit, oh, come on. And the crowd's dead. And I'm just laughing at how stupid this whole thing is. The crowd hates it. Bianca's laughing, not taking it seriously at all. Carmella's not even taking herself seriously. And I'm just going to stop there. What do you guys think of everything up until this point?
I think it was WWE, why can't you just, I get they didn't want to spoil the surprise of a special person joining, but the rumor was out there, I said it yesterday on the podcast, that it looked like Sasha wasn't going to be able to compete. And I guess I read something today on Fightful that she wasn't cleared. So I don't know if it's COVID or what. No, hopefully she can come back soon. That's what the report is. Hopefully they'll have her soon. But I feel you kind of led the fans in you in the wrong direction. Be okay, even up until Bianca's entrance, Pat McAfee's hyping up the match. He's oh my god, this is gonna be a classic. I'm if you know it's not happening, you don't have to say that. We're looking forward to it because they had such a good match at WrestleMania. All right,
I think they can get away with that if the match that they ended up having ended up being classic. You can say this match is going to be a classic, and then you rip the classic. Everyone's expecting this classic match, and you take it away from them, and then you give them a star, and then but you still have to have the classic match to justify taking away a classic match. But obviously, Dom, go ahead.
I was gonna say that this is the match. Well, Sasha against Belaire was the match I was most looking forward to. I thought this was the match that was going to be the best, and it didn't end up happening. We'll talk about what actually ended up happening. It was just overall disappointing, and I have a lot of gripe and a lot of things to get off my chest when we get into what actually happened.
Yeah, so speaking of what actually happened, so it looks like they're about to ring the bell for this hopefully 2-minute match of Carmella versus Bianca Belair. When Becky Lynch's music hits, and I think the pop of the night, the crowd goes absolutely ballistic, and Becky's entrance was great. She milked the crowd every step of the way, even when she got in the ring, just milking the crowd on everything. I loved it. I was kind of, I don't know what I was hoping for at this point, because as soon as her music hit, I think it was pretty obvious she was going to walk out of the ring with the championship. I would have rather seen her go for the Raw Women's Championship, because that's the title she technically never lost. But she beats up Carmella, gets in the ring, and now I'm getting pretty hyped, because Becky and Bianca could have a really great match, and this is a match that I don't think we've seen this match at all. Becky versus Bianca Belair. So this is at least something it's going to be new, and it's going to be great. And then the bell rings, and I took a swig out of my water bottle, and I looked back at the screen, and the match was over. And yeah, I'm actually going to read. So I took notes on every match. I'm going to read just my notes from the beginning to the end of this entire segment.
It's going to be good.
So Bianca versus Sasha, cross out. Carmella, cross out. Becky. If I see Carmella and Zelina Vega at any point, I'm going to puke. Oh, fuck all this noise. I'm getting a snack. The crowd is dead. Absolutely dead. This is awful. Nothing could be worse. Please be a squash match. Oh, fuck me. I love wrestling. It's Becky. What the fuck? The SmackDown women's division's dead. That was my roller coaster.
I missed the whole match. I looked at my phone and the match was over. I had to experience it through a replay, which honestly, the replay could just show the whole match, because it actually did. So from what I remember, she did like what was it? Like a sucker punch. And she cycled a sucker punch, and she hit her finisher, or what? Well, it wasn't even her finisher. It was some kind of like the man move. It was like
It was one of her. I think it was one of her like signature moves. I think Michael Cole called the wrong move. He called the manhandle slam, but I don't remember it being a pump hand. I don't remember it being a pump, because that's the name for pump handle move. She has a pump handle move that I think is called the manhandle slam, but that wasn't it.
That was more like.
Is anyone surprised? Yeah. But is anyone surprised that Michael Cole's fucking up spots?
No. It's Michael Cole. He's here to scream very loudly and be excited that the man is back. That's what Michael Cole's role.
I mean, it was a cool moment that
it was.
But like at the same time, I missed the pop because I was so pissed that we're having Carmella. Because Sasha's my favorite wrestler. So like I'm like, fuck, Sasha's not here. We have to deal with Carmella. I'm like in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, maybe Becky, but like sometimes WWE just is like, nah, you can't be happy tonight. I'm sorry. But then she came out and then she squashed Bianca, which is I'm gonna give them a benefit of the doubt. They probably didn't know Sasha wasn't gonna be able to compete until like probably like Wednesday of this week. So like I don't know if Becky was even like prepared to like wrestle. Like she's been out for over a year. So like I just think, I don't know. If they turn Bianca heel, I'll be happy.
Eric,
you want to have any thoughts before I go on like a 3-minute rant?
Okay, yeah, I'll get mine out of the way. Because for the match, like Cody said, you don't know how long they've known that this was going to happen. But at the same time, if Becky was ready to do anything, I don't think Becky would have returned if she wasn't ready to wrestle a full match. She definitely wouldn't have won the title if she wasn't ready to wrestle a full match. And I think these are professional wrestlers. This is WWE. They're getting the best training in the business. They can put a match together. Like I bet they could put together a decent 5 or 6 minute match with like 3 hours notice. And they definitely knew this was happening. At the very least, they knew this was happening the day before the pay-per-view. They could have put together a solid 5-6 minute match and just had Becky go over. Because I'm not gonna lie, I think Becky winning the title is the right decision. She's the most over woman in the company. Even after a year of layoff, you saw the pop. You heard the pop that she got.
Yeah.
And I think, especially given how she gave the title away to Asuka, she needs to come back and have a title, because no one ever got the pay. Not the payoff of seeing her lose, but closure for her as a champion of her actually getting pinned and putting somebody over. So her winning was the right decision, but I think Wikipedia says 27 seconds. I feel like that's generous. It felt like 10 seconds for me. I think that's terrible. Like you can do that. I think you can do that with Nikki Ash, because she's a comedy wrestler and you don't expect anything from her. But when Bianca Belair has been the champion for multiple months, she's beaten Bayley multiple times. She's got solid wins. She's been solidified as a legitimate champion. Beating her in less than 30 seconds makes the entire women's division look terrible. Like, Sasha, since Sasha wasn't here, she's the only person that I buy against Becky right now. I don't buy Bianca Belair because she's lost in 30 seconds. I never bought Carmella and Zelina Vega, but I don't buy anyone Bianca has ever beat, because Bianca looks so weak now.
All right, here, let me get into this. I'm gonna get ready. What in the actual hell is WWE doing? I get Becky Lynch returning. It's a great moment. I really couldn't judge the pop. It's really hard to judge pops with such a big arena, because when the crowd reacts, like the sound goes everywhere because it's such a big space, right? So I'm not gonna judge the pop reaction. I was happy. I know a lot of people were excited to see Becky. This is my problem. What's the point of having her win to begin with? Because you're gonna take all the heat away, all the momentum you have with Belair, and just shove it in the toilet. Here's Becky, who is supposed to be the person who's against authority. She's the man, she stands up for the people. Her whole thing was, hey, I'm gonna come in here, the system's fair. Ronda Rousey, her story with Ronda Rousey was like, okay, she's just giving you the opportunities. That's not fair. I worked my ass off. I'm gonna show who the man is, Becky Lynch. She is the man. That's the whole story. And with her just coming in there, I wouldn't say demand. I don't know how you guys.
She just showed up and Bianca agreed to the match.
Okay,
Becky has nothing to do with this. This is their booking.
Okay, this is not Becky herself, but I'm just saying the booking itself. I'm more talking about the booking. I'm sure Becky, when they're like, oh, you win the championship, I don't think she's gonna be like, oh, I don't want to. That many wrestlers deny a championship. There's some people out there, but some don't. And I don't understand, why couldn't she just come in here, and nobody cares about Carmella or Zelina Vega? Why couldn't they come out there, I don't know, annoy Belair, and then Becky comes in for the save and they raise their hands? Obviously, Belair is supposed to be the babyface. Becky's definitely supposed to be the babyface. Why can't they have them be babyface together? Why does it have to squander Belair's momentum? What is Belair gonna do now? Why would you take her serious when they have a rematch? Why would you take her serious now?
Well, her husband's in the Street Profits. Maybe they need a valet.
Oh, that's disrespectful to Belair, and you know that. It's just
say that like, I get the finish is terrible. I understand, but Becky did catch her off guard with a punch. Like, Bianca wasn't paying attention. She punched her and then threw her down. So it's
but he can say the same.
Bianca just stood there and be like, hey, hit me with your move.
But the parallel I would like to think, I'm like, okay, what's the best case scenario for this story? And I'm thinking Daniel Bryan.
Becky just has crazy, like, I get what you're saying, that Bianca had a lot of momentum, but Becky's got the crowd. Becky's gonna draw. Becky's gonna draw.
Let's be honest. If Sasha wrestled last night, who won?
Belair.
No, Sasha's winning. Now, why would they take the title off Bianca?
Because Becky comes.
Sasha was winning last night. I'm almost positive.
Becky was gonna win over either of them. Honestly, if Sasha was able to wrestle,
Becky's not coming back if Sasha's wrestling.
Yes, she is. Why wouldn't she? Why would? Yes, she would.
Why would she come back last night when they had the match anyways?
To insert herself in the match and win the title.
No.
This is obvious.
Sasha couldn't wrestle.
So you're just telling me that, they thought of this last minute?
Yes, that's what I've been saying the whole time.
I don't understand WWE's booking. They just do some things extremely well, and then some things they just do awful. And the problem with me is, why don't they are supposed to be about the women's revolution, which is great. This is what we've been wanting to see. Women can wrestle just as well as men. I think that's a proven point. That's a fact. But continuously, they book them like shit. Like,
that's a bit of a stretch, I think. That's a little bit of a stretch.
Okay, what's the most recent good booking for a female?
That's a really general term. What do you mean good booking?
Bianca's been booked good since
until now.
Till now. The
Okay,
But
so
that was her whole
okay,
run,
then
though.
then
Her
I'll
whole
say
run
okay.
is gonna be remembered.
Then I'll
as her
say okay.
losing
I'll say
in,
I'll
like,
say
30 seconds.
then I'll say Friday on SmackDown. That was good woman. That was good women's booking.
She wasn't even there
When
yet on Friday. Was she? What did she do?
Yeah, why would she be booked for SmackDown if she's not going to be on the show?
Who,
That's good.
Belair
That's good.
or Sasha?
If the match is going to happen, Sasha.
Well,
She
she
wasn't
wasn't there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Why would she be booked for SmackDown for the
Why
SmackDown go
would
home
they
show for SummerSlam if
advertise?
she's not going to be
I
a
don't
superstar?
Funny, Becky's not showing up if Sasha's there.
Oh,
She might show up. She might show up, but she might show up like after the match
Yeah, she's not showing
and
up.
challenge.
I think Bianca loses that title either way. Because if they wanted her to actually keep the title, Becky's not coming out that night. Or she's coming out at the Raw match, not SmackDown.
I like to
That's fair.
think.
That's fair.
I like to think that somehow it's really hard to tell if I don't know you guys' opinion if the two returns was a counterpart to what happened on Friday.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Brock's
Okay,
100%. Brock's a million.
if it really was, then they everybody knew Punk was gonna return before it actually happened. You know, you don't just sell the United Center and not show up with the person everyone comes like that.
Okay.
Basically buries your whole company. AEW is not that stupid. They might be a young company, but they're not a stupid company in my opinion. But that, needless to say, I just don't like how the women are being booked. I think there's so many
They're being booked
talented.
fine, I think.
With Becky, like,
It's
okay,
been
who's
like this for
Becky
years,
gonna
though.
who's Becky gonna actually
They just
face?
the women just main evented WrestleMania.
Yeah, and the winner just lost in 30 seconds in SummerSlam, and the loser is gonna
After
face Becky
after
next,
holding the
and then she's
belt
gonna
for
win.
5 months.
So you're telling me you don't want to see Sasha versus Becky?
Of course I do, but it's not.
Okay, so Dominic,
I'm not gonna.
Dominic,
I'm not gonna
you
go
love-
in
you
thinking
love Kofi
Sasha's
Mania,
gonna
though,
win
right?
now. She couldn't even be.
Didn't you love Kofi Mania? Didn't you love Kofi Mania?
Kofi Mania is not the women's division though.
But it's the
Yeah,
same thing. Kofi won it. Kofi won at WrestleMania, held for a long time, got squashed. So was he a terribly booked champion? Same exact thing. Tell me that's not the same exact thing.
It wasn't booked well afterwards. The moment
I will
the
say that
WrestleMania moment was great.
F5
and
has an established move that like no one kicks out.
no
of
one's
that.
gonna look at like Kofi's actual reign as something really good. They're gonna be look at it as a disappointment. And there
No,
has
they
been a
don't.
lot.
No, they don't. They look at it. They look at it like, wow, Kofi had a big push. That's good for him.
He had a big push, but what? No, the moment from him getting the WrestleMania match. So basically, I would like to call it the road to WrestleMania was great. After that, it was kind of like, well, he's gonna have to have this run now, and the run itself was underwhelming. It just was, and then him getting squashed. That's the story. Belair could have had a much better run. And I like to think that.
So Kofi was booked. So then Kofi was booked poorly. So you can't just say that they booked the women poorly because they booked the men poorly too.
But the men is just not just WWE Championship. The thing with the women is they will have a WWE Championship and then maybe the tag division and something else. The fact of it is we had
tag division. The tag division is terribly put.
Exactly my point with the women's tag division. When I said tag division, I meant women's tag division, of course. But how many women's matches were there? There were 3 women's matches.
Tonight?
Yes, 3, right?
Yeah, there were 3.
Two of them were championship matches.
Oh yeah,
and one of them
that's
was
not a real match.
And one of them was what we already discussed it, which was BS, right? Like, I like to. I know they can book them well, and if they book them well and give them a big spotlight, these women will deliver.
But at the same time,
why couldn't they just give them a 5-minute match? They would have delivered.
Because the show already went 4 hours.
Yeah, with the drip step, and everything else with Lily.
Like, no, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's my complaint. Is you don't need to have those terrible segments, but that's show wide. It's
bad booking. That's just.
I promise when they had these segments and they didn't say, okay, where can we make up time? Let's take all of it away from the SmackDown Women's Championship. I promise you they didn't say that.
Here, let's try. Let me ask you guys something before we move on to the next, because I've been ranting for a while. And,
we gotta get going. This is gonna be like 2 hours now.
When do you guys think Belair's gonna get a rematch? Give me a time span.
When?
Yeah,
Extreme
when?
Wait, when's she gonna get a rematch? Probably Friday. I'm SmackDown.
Friday? Okay. What do you think, Cody?
No, I don't think Becky's wrestling for a little while at least.
Okay. I don't think
Yeah,
Belair's.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Whenever Becky can wrestle a proper match, that's probably Bianca's probably gonna be her first opponent.
I'm gonna
I
be.
think Extreme Rules, and then Sasha's gonna do something. I don't know. And then it's gonna be a triple threat crown.
All right. Before let's try to get to the other ones and zoom those through. I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I hope I am wrong. Honestly, I don't think Belair's gonna face Becky in a rematch for the next 2 months. That's just me. Hopefully, I'm wrong. I'm honestly hopefully wrong.
Your bold predictions usually go well.
So I'm hopefully wrong, but I just have to. I just have a bad feeling about it. Okay, let's just move on. But
Yes, so don't worry, we're gonna make up some time here because this match should take no more than 30 seconds to talk about. Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal.
Okay. No, 0-0-0.
A squash match should have been. Drew McIntyre is not on the pre-show because it's Drew McIntyre.
Sick of Drew McIntyre.
Yeah,
I'm sick of him.
I'm not, but
the match was exactly what you thought it would be. It was a squash. Veer and Shanky didn't show up till afterward. Drew then swung the most obviously, I'm going to swing this, but not try to hit you, swing of a sword I've ever seen in my life. And that was it. Yeah. Jinder looked like an idiot. And thanks for coming, Jinder. I'll see you on main event.
Cool squash match for what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks for coming to the main roster for a month, Jinder. We'll see you on main event.
Yeah, main event it is.
Moving on. The next match. The Raw Women's Championship, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair versus Nikki, no longer a superhero.
Thank God. Thank God. This match was better than I thought it was gonna be. I enjoyed it more. It was a bit slow. Because I like my triple threat. I like those a little bit faster. They had some great high spots. Nikki tapping basically just tells me they're done with Nikki. Because you're not gonna have your baby face tap. And honestly, it was like, okay, I have my Nikki predictions wrong, but at least I won't be seeing Nikki. This is good. It's good that Rhea didn't take the fall. If Nikki was gonna lose, she should have taken it, and she did. And she take it with the tap. And the rest is history. Charlotte is now the 12th-time women's champion.
Yeah, I like the match. This is actually one of my favorite matches of the night. I didn't have a problem with the pacing. So, I mean, the first thing was, Nikki Ash's intro package made this impossible to take seriously at all because she's got the goofy cartoon, comic book superhero music and talking about how, like, following your dreams and cookie cutter pandering, blah, blah, blah. I can't take any of it seriously. But the match itself, this is why I liked it. The way that multi-person matches tend to be booked nowadays is just a series of one-on-one matches where someone, like in a triple threat match, someone will, like, if us three were in a triple threat match, it would be booked as me and Cody would dump Dom to the floor and Dom would sell for like 5 minutes while me and Cody have a one-on-one match. And then Dom will come in and then Dom and Cody will throw me out so that Dom and Cody can have a one-on-one match. And this wasn't that for the most part. There were obviously parts where Nikki needed to sell because Nikki needed to be as far away from the two stars as possible. But for the most part, this was a triple threat where all three women were in the ring actually doing, there was good like 2-on-1s where they were trying to neutralize Charlotte. There was good double team action. I actually thought that Nikki Ash, I think, actually performed a lot better than I thought she would. She did like a lot of her count. She had really clean work with a lot of her counters. And she did, like, as much as I didn't want her in the match, she did fine. She did fine for what she was in there to do. And obviously the interplay with Charlotte and Rhea was great, as it always is. They have such great chemistry. I love seeing it. And there were some pretty good near falls in this match. There were some good high spots. I thought this had everything I think you expect a good triple threat to have. It might have been a little bit slow for some people's taste, but I thought I had no problem with the pace, but I understand some people will. Yeah. But I really liked it. It was everything that I thought needed to happen happened, including Charlotte winning. I thought that was the only sensible thing to do.
I hated this match. I really did. I did not hate it. There's some matches like people can't get into. I just couldn't get into this match. My favorite part was when Charlotte almost decapitated Nikki Ash on her moonsault when Nikki Ash's head was on the barricade, and Charlotte's ass like went right into her.
That was
She
scary.
almost killed.
Yeah.
But I'm sick. I don't like the match just because I know what's gonna happen. I know on Raw, Charlotte's gonna come out, and then Rhea's gonna come out, and Rhea's gonna be like, "Well, I didn't tap out. You didn't get me." So we're gonna have another rematch, which they do have great matches, but like I'm sick of the same story over and over and over again. And like this was such a predictable ending. Like it was either gonna be Nikki Ash rolling up one of the two, probably Rhea, or it was Charlotte making Nikki Ash tap. It was just a very predictable match for me. So I
prefer the outcome that happened. So.
Well, yeah, me too. But I don't think there's no one that Charlotte can wrestle right now that's not Rhea Ripley.
So what I would give this a 3.7. We didn't do a rating for the last match.
0.
We haven't done a rating for the last two matches.
Oh yeah, because
Sucked.
they don't
Zero.
deserve
Yeah.
one. No, 0. No.
I'd give this 3 3/4.
Yeah, same.
No, I give this a 2.
Cody's a hater. Okay, let's move on.
I'm just gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm moving along to another match that we disagreed on. So I'm gonna preface it. By saying
You disagree.
Yeah, we were talking about should we do the review right after the show or the morning after. I'm really glad we chose the morning after because it did give me time to rewatch this match. And I've changed my tune a lot, but like I'm still not as high on this match as you guys were. It's Edge versus Seth Rollins, and I'll start since I'm the differing opinion here. I'll start off with the good stuff. Obviously, I think as far as like work, I think this was the best worked match of the night by far, and it's not a surprise when you look at who's in it. I think the psychology was at first I was the psychology was solid. The psychology was great. It's like this was also the best psychology of the night. Everything centering around working on Edge's neck, all the the suspense around when Seth's going to hit the curb stomp. I thought the psychology was off the charts in this match. So I have changed my tune a little bit from I hated this match, but I can't come fully around on it because I timed it the second time I watched it from when I think the pace picks up from just tortoise and the hair slow. For me it's 7 minutes. The first 7, and this was a 21-minute match. The first 7 minutes I thought were putting me to sleep. It was so slow. But I get that they have to build. I get the pace needs to be built over time. But I think 7 minutes for it to be as slow as it was a bit much. But then after that 7 minutes, I think it was great. There were a lot of callbacks to Edge's, his retro moveset with the execution and the educator. There's a lot of throwbacks. The guys have great chemistry with each other. And I think it was a really, really well told story. From people that I've talked to about this match, they're split on whether or not the right person won. I think the right person won. I know there's a thing like Edge is so old, he needs to be putting people over. But my thing is, I don't think Seth Rollins needs a bunch of wins to be a credible title contender. I think he's one of the rare people on the roster where he can just get thrown into the title picture whenever he wants, and it makes sense because he's a star. So I think a loss here doesn't hurt Seth as much as it would have hurt Edge, and a win for Seth wouldn't have done as much as it would for Edge. Edge, I think, absolutely needed this win, assuming that they have actual plans for him. If they have no plans for him, then okay, have him lose. But it seems like they got plans for him, so he needed the win. This
match was great, honestly. Should have been first of all, Seth is the drip god. This is probably my favorite entrance attire from him of all time, which says a lot because he has a lot of great ones. This is my favorite. I just love the mismatch on his arms. He had like little pattern. So the vest he wore was like a luchador. Was it like a luchador vest? It was like a bull. What's it? What's the name for the people? A bullfighter. Is that the name? Sure. The bullfighter vest. It was just all around great. I love some of the counters. The counter from Edge trying to hit a spear and then Seth hitting a counter of a pedigree in the midair. That was great. The pacing is an Edge match, honestly. We saw it last month with Roman Reigns. It started off slow and it picked up. But that's also Roman's kind of pace in terms of matches. So that worked really well. I think it worked really well here. Seth is class act. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, oh, Seth Rollins. I'm not the biggest fan of him, and then I watch him and I'm like, well, I'm stupid. You know, I should hit myself with a hammer. Honestly, Cody's giving me a thumbs up.
Yeah.
But in terms of the Brood entrance, I think that's cool. I wish it would have gone longer, but it makes sense for the character that Edge is right now. And all in general, I think I really, really enjoyed it. It's a great match. 3, I'm gonna give it this time. I'll give it actual 4. This time actually 4 stars.
If the other one 4, you can't take it back. Sorry.
This time, okay, fine. This one is actually 4. I'm gonna stick with it no matter what. I think this match is the match of the night for me.
So I'm definitely in the Dom camp right now. This is my favorite match of the night. I think Seth carried this match. I think the only like real bad thing that I didn't like about this match, Seth Rollins needs to stop doing that stupid Falcon Arrow. Like it's the most literally, like every time it's coming. It's like the 5 moves of doom from Cena. You know what's happening once he does the one. So like I do like. It's a shame that Seth Rollins isn't really over as a face, because I feel like he would be able to have way more matches with different types of people if he was a face. But his character just doesn't. I guess it just doesn't match with his face. Like, so when he was champion, he wasn't really that over as a face. Like, every time he's a heel, he's just the best heel. So I did enjoy this match. I thought it made a lot of sense with the neck. I think the result was right, where I agree with Eric. Seth Rollins doesn't need to win to have a championship match. His character is delusional. He deserves everything. So it doesn't really matter what his wins or losses come to, because I feel Seth is just one of those guys that you can put him in the championship picture. It works. So I really did like this match. I thought Seth carried it. Seth is probably a top 3 wrestler in WWE, I would say.
Yeah. Him, AJ, and
Randy.
I mean, wrestling ability. I don't think Roman's up there with wrestling ability. He's a great wrestler, but I think overall, like ability in the ring, I think Seth is probably top 3. So that was a fun match, and it was, I liked it all the way through.
And I'll say a couple things I forgot to mention. First of all, I think might be my favorite near fall of the night, if not my second favorite near fall of the night, was when Seth was going to the top rope, went for the Phoenix Splash, landed on 2, which like just doing that, you could to do the corkscrew moonsault and land on your feet, fucking impressive as hell. I don't know how he does it. And then into the spear from Edge, that might have been my favorite near fall of the night. But then the finish, actually, so when I said that Damien Priest and Sheamus had my favorite, if not my second favorite finish of the night, this might have been my favorite finish. I loved, because who thought that it was gonna be a submission finish?
Yeah.
Like I don't think anyone thought it was gonna be a submission finish. I loved when he gets the crossface in, rolls him over to the middle of the ring, looks like Seth's gonna get out, and then he starts pounding. I mean, the camera angle was kind of bad. You could see Seth pounding the ring to get the effect, and I think Seth even caught onto it because he stopped hitting it for a second because he realized how stupid it looked. But for what they were going for, like, I think it made Edge look really strong. And I love the finish. This might have been my favorite finish of the night.
So great, honestly, great all around. I enjoyed it. I'm intrigued to see who Edge and Seth are gonna feud with next.
Yeah, I feel like Edge is gonna be gone for a while.
I can see that. Yeah. Till Survivor Series, I guess.
Yeah, I would probably say that. Yeah.
Or the Crown Jewel match, if.
He might go to Crown Jewel because of the money.
Yeah.
All right, so Bobby Lashley.
Speaking after my favorite finish of the night, probably my least favorite finish of the night, Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg. I hated it. I liked the first minute because it was a classic. Because I think we're all expecting the same thing: a classic 3 to 4 minute sloppy Goldberg spot fest, where it's going to be spear, finish. And that would, if that's what we got, I would have been fine with it. And for the first couple minutes, it looked like that's what we were going to get. Goldberg, he was hitting his moves fairly, for the most part. There was obviously a couple where he was showing his age a little bit. His work was with his power moves, like his power slams was pretty good. for the most part, it was just a sloppy Goldberg spot fest for a few minutes. But then they go out to the floor. Once this match hit the 5-minute mark, I was out. I hated the finish. At first, I thought it might be a legitimate injury because I'm like, they can't be this stupid that they're actually going to have this done by referee stoppage. Then the afterbirth happened with the son. Like, oh no, that was the planned finish. This was awful. I mean, for what it's worth, they did make Lashley look really strong because he did ragdoll Goldberg around a little bit. But I hate the referee stoppage, and I hate the bringing his son in after the match. Even though Lashley kept his heat, I hated it.
It's not good. Bobby should have just pinned him. I feel like now he gets like half the rub he's supposed to get from the Goldberg win. Like honestly, he gets less the rub. Goldberg looks worse. If Goldberg wants to return, and if Goldberg, I mean, I'm guessing he's gonna try to return. As much as I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys don't might not like
and
it.
That's the worst part is the afterbirth of the match guarantees that the feud's not over.
Exactly.
That's the worst part.
And now I'm thinking, oh, are they gonna try this again at WrestleMania?
And actually, the worst part is they set it up to where it might be like a Lashley and MVP versus Goldberg and Youngberg match, which
Youngberg is like what 15? You can't know. That's
he's
not
15.
No,
I feel like
you don't even put that idea out
either
there.
way, the feud's still going on, which is the worst takeaway of it all.
I don't really have an opinion on this match. That's pretty terrible. But I do not like that. If the angle was to set up the sun thing, then cool. But if Goldberg just didn't want to take a pin from Lashley, that's pathetic. I agree. If that's why the thing was stopped because of injury. Like he could have pinned him and then attacked him afterwards. Like that would make sense more than Goldberg not taking a pin at all from your WWE champion. I don't know.
I think I might be wishfully thinking here, but I would like to think that's not the case because it's not like since Goldberg returned at Survivor Series, it's not like he's done 0 jobs. He jobbed to Brock, he jobbed to Strowman. I think he's proven that he's not opposed to taking jobs. So I might be wishfully thinking, but I think if you are going to do a job to Braun Strowman, you should be fine doing a job to Bobby Lashley.
Either way, what a disappointing outcome, to be honest.
I just don't like Goldberg, so that might be just me.
The only good thing I have to say about Goldberg is his entrance is hype. That's all. It's hype. It's hype. I think it's hype. Goldberg, that's hype. Other than that, that's all.
I don't know. All right, let's go on to the main event.
Yes, main event time. Roman Reigns versus John Cena for the Universal Championship. I'll let you guys start.
I thought this was what we expected. I don't think we were expecting like a 5-star wrestling match between these two because Roman likes to work slow.
Yeah.
But this was slow. This was slower than Roman works. Well, I feel like Roman was just going to the crowd way too much, talking about the crowd. Every chance he got, he knocked Cena down one. And then Cena would do the roll-up, and I hated it. Like, Cena, you're a 16-time WWE champion. You shouldn't be trying to roll up somebody to get your title. You're John Cena. You should be using your moves. You should be, I don't know. I just didn't like this match too much. I'm glad that Roman won, even though I picked John Cena because I just thought it would be funny.
It was hilarious, I'm sure.
But I do think the outcome was good. I'm glad that Brock Lesnar returned. I think it's just an interesting dynamic between him and Paul Heyman and Reigns. I'm very excited. This is probably the most excited I've been for a feud with Roman for a little while. So yeah. I'm very happy. The match probably 3 stars. It wasn't terrible, but it felt like their No Mercy match a lot. So that was kind of.
Go ahead, Dom.
Oh, I was gonna say I actually do like this match. Yeah, it was very slow. I am not the biggest fan of slow matches, but Roman, just his character work, I just enjoy so much. With Paul Heyman, with the near falls, with Paul Heyman's reaction every time it's a near fall. By the way, we did watch together this last match, and I was just raving about his Roman's timing and his kickouts. His timing is so impeccable and great. It's so precise.
His eyes are open.
What's that?
His eyes are open.
Whatever.
His eyes open. I mean, like, if his eyes were closed, you would like it would just make more be like, oh, is Roman gonna be able to kick out?
Well,
Like,
he's not sleeping when he takes the pin. I don't
I
understand
mean,
that.
but like Cena, if you watch Cena usually has his eyes closed when he's kicking out.
Well, Cena. He's gonna do whatever. Honestly, Cena, I was very impressed with. I love the slick back hair. I like that he was trying to do a little. Didn't he like taunt? He kind of taunted Roman Reigns with the whole. Didn't he do like a ooh? He did something. He did something.
Yeah,
He did the spear thing.
I enjoyed that a lot. It made me pop. Honestly, that's just me though.
Remind me of the Rock match where he lost. Because
I enjoy the little taunts and the John Cena cheekiness, I like to call it. And I didn't like the roll-ups. I didn't like the whole story of like, oh, I almost got you. I have 2 pins. I'm like, John Cena, you're the 16-time world champion. You should be expecting just to flat out dominate, like Super Cena this match. I don't know why you're doing like, oh, I have to win by a roll-up. I have to do it by a quick count. Look at that. I just didn't like that. And the Brock Lesnar return, I don't like to say I predicted this because I really didn't. I just said, what is Brock doing right before he came out? And then he came out and I was like, yeah, that would be cool. And Brock came
I don't remember you saying that.
Eric, you better
I don't remember you saying that.
He said it. He said it.
I don't know.
Cody doesn't like to give me
I'll give him.
Cody's a hater.
Like he didn't say like watch Brock come out in 3, 2, 1.
I just said
he literally said he said like like we were talking about Brock and I was like, well, Cody said he was trending and Dom's like, well, what's he doing? And so he didn't predict it, but
I said I didn't predict it. I'm just saying I kind of foreshadowed it. That's all when we watched it together.
Sure.
But overall,
there's no footage. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. What do you guys get that for a star rating? What's the star rating for that match?
I give it 3 stars.
3.5.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm looking at it as I really liked what they accomplished because Roman really, for the most part, he worked Cena over, and I think he got over really strong. But the match itself, yeah, I mean, look, John Cena, his big thing has been like, I only need to be perfect. Like, you can beat the shit out of me, and I only need to be perfect for 1, 2, 3, and I beat you. So I liked the first couple roll-ups because, like, okay, that fits with what he was saying. But then when it gets like the 5th roll-up and the 6th roll-up, it's like, what are we doing here? Does anyone think that any roll-up is going to beat Roman Reigns? No, it's not. So you just overkill it, and it's just it bothered me a lot. And then, yeah, this match was really slow, which is which is classic Roman Reigns, especially this Roman Reigns likes to work really, really slow. And the thing that really takes me out of a lot of his matches is when he just stops and just starts talking to people, like. Not like heels will taunt the crowd. That's normal. But Roman will just start having full-on conversations with the camera, and it's just I don't know. It's boring when he'll stop, he'll stand up, look at the camera, and speak 2 or 3 complete sentences. Like, dude, you're having a match.
I don't mind it. So, like, I don't mind it when he's beating the guy down like crazy, but he really wasn't beating Cena down.
Yeah. And I thought, like Cody said, this felt a lot like their No Mercy match because, because the big takeaways of this match were the exact same takeaways I had of the No Mercy match is Roman kicked out of last night he kicked out of 4 AAs. At No Mercy, I think he kicked out of 5. And John Cena down flat 1, 2, 3 on the first spear he takes. It was the exact same thing. I'm glad that Roman got over strong because that's what this whole feud was about, getting Roman Reigns over strong, over a legend, and that's what they did because Roman had most of the offense in this match, and Cena going for all these roll-ups also put over Roman's strength that John Cena feels the need to try to win cheap. So I think that's all good. It's just this wasn't. I was expecting a little bit more out of this match, to be honest, because both these guys can work really well and have had really good matches. It's only natural that with each other they'd have a great one, but they didn't necessarily. But again, they got for what they wanted to accomplish from bell to bell, they did it. And then, it leads to the Brock thing, which I'm pretty interested in because, like, if Paul Heyman weren't involved in this, I wouldn't care at all about this because this is just Brock and Roman for the 20,000th time. But with Paul here, with Roman being a with Roman being a heel, with Roman being a heel, And oh, by the way, did you guys hear what happened when the show went off the air?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. So Brock's a tweener. He's not even a full-on babyface. He's a tweener.
That's
So I think that's
the crowd though. They wouldn't. I feel like if they were really wanting him to be a tweener, they would have had it on TV. If it was for the crowd, they want to see.
So it's gonna be interesting with Paul in the other guy's corner and with them essentially switching roles. I think it's gonna be really interesting. The only thing I'm worried about is if the plan is still Roman versus The Rock at Survivor Series. I think this feud's going to be too rushed because Brock and Roman are two huge stars. They need a big, long build up to one great pay-per-view match. And with The Rock scheduled to be fighting Roman in 3 months, I think I don't know how much justice they're going to do to how big this should be.
They wanted the moment. They wanted the moment of Brock Lesnar returning, and honestly, that was my biggest pop of the night.
And do it with Bobby Lashley. Do it with fucking Bobby Lashley. That's the one that everyone wants to see.
But
Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley.
We don't know.
And they had Brock and Goldberg had a stupid match with a stupid finish that invited an interference. But instead of Brock Lesnar coming and attacking Lashley afterwards, you got Goldberg's fucking son.
Also, that I feel like it plays into like the whole money thing, like with Fox. Like Fox wants Brock Lesnar on their show, not
They want the ratings. From what I know, they're not very happy with. Well, they're not. I wouldn't say they're like not happy with it. They're like content. They're like, oh, you could do better, WWE. Look what AEW is doing. You know, like TNT is like, oh,
I'm sure they're saying, look at what AEW is doing on TNT.
They're doing better than AEW. Like, look at AEW's doing.
But not for the money they bought. But not for the money they bought them with.
I mean, SmackDown had like 2 million viewers the other day.
But what?
That's a lot of viewers.
Fox's problems from what I've read, I obviously haven't read everything about it, but Fox's issues haven't necessarily been with ratings and returns as much as it's been with the actual product. That's because they obviously they said they wanted Brock Lesnar. They also said if Ronda Rousey's going to come back to the WWE, she better be on Fox. So they're more worried about their gripes are more with the product rather than the ratings and returns that they're getting. Because they're getting, when you look at the wrestling business, they're getting the best returns. They're getting 1.8 to 2 million viewers every Friday night. No one else is doing
Well, I have a question for you real quick before we finish this off. Is this the first time SmackDown is like a confirmed A show?
I think it's been the A show for a long time, honestly. I think ever since the brand split in 2016, I think SmackDown's been the A show.
Okay.
Yes, but this is the first time that SmackDown's been looked at in the
exactly.
Okay, overall,
from the management looked at.
Then yes.
Because there's an argument that SmackDown has been better than Raw in the Attitude Era or even.
I mean, I don't think in the Attitude Era.
Okay, my bad. The Ruthless. Sorry. The Ruth. I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. The Ruthless Aggression Era. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But then yes.
But by the management, this is the first. I think this is the first time they actually looked at it as the A show, which is awesome because. I mean,
Survivor Series a couple years ago, Raw clean swept SmackDown. That definitely weren't the A show then.
Yeah, I'm just excited. I think Raw coming is a good addition, and it piques my intrigue, especially.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else you guys?
Yes, I mean, we've already recapped the show overall. I mean, yes. So, I mean, unless you guys have anything to add,
I think we've covered it all. I'm looking forward to this next week of TV. Hopefully, we got to get a schedule together somehow for the podcast. I'm not sure if we're gonna do each show or we'll do like a couple, like a Wednesday night video. Tom, what are you looking at?
Me?
You're looking. Yeah, you're like.
Don't worry about it.
But anyway, yeah. So that was the 2021 edition of SummerSlam. And just to give a quick, we all gave our picks for the matches on yesterday's prediction show. Yeah. I've got the scores right here. So Bianca Bellaire match notwithstanding, because none of us knew what was going to happen.
I predict Becky.
But it wasn't part of the actual predictions, Cody.
Yeah, what I have written down is you said Sasha. If Sasha no shows, you pick Bianca. That's what I have you written down.
Cody.
Cody, I said Becky back. Review the tape.
We'll check the tapes. We'll check the tapes. But yeah, so Bianca match notwithstanding, in third place, Dom had 7 correct guesses, 2 incorrect guesses. You picked Sheamus and Nikki Ash.
Oh well.
Cody had 8 correct guesses and 1 incorrect guess. You picked Cena, and that's kind of an asterisk because you picked it for fun. And then yours truly had 9 correct guesses and 0 incorrect. And what do you guys want to do this like as a running total or like reset every show?
Yeah, let's do a running total. Let's do a running.
Oh God, I'm gonna do.
I like the idea. I like the idea of running total.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
And that, yeah, so across WWE and like, because I assume we're going to be predicting and reviewing All Out as well, right?
Oh hell yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not
that'll be
very
interesting.
AEW. I'm not
AEW
very
is
current with the AEW, so it might be. That might be.
Don't
where
worry. Whoever you think's going to win, whoever you think's going to win is going to win. The same people win. I'm not bashing AEW. They're doing well right now, but the same people win every time. Exactly who you think's going to win is going to win.
Same with WWE.
Hmm.
Well, I mean,
yeah. Yeah. I think that's the show then.
I mean, yeah. All right then. Thank you for watching, and we're out.